Here we go.
My name is Erik Sprague. I'm professionally known as the Lizardman. I am a professional freak, which in my case means that I perform stand-up comedy, spoken word, sideshow stunts, also front a band, and I'm sometimes a freelance writer. I've had over 700 hours of tattooing. It covers my entire body, top to bottom. I've had Teflon subdermally implanted onto my skull to create the ridges over my eyes. I've had my teeth filed down into points, and my tongue bifurcated, split into like that of a snake. It's a very common question. A lot of people ask in their first sort of 3 to 5 questions, they always want to know, like, what does your family think? What do your parents think? And, you know, I'm very lucky to have parents that are happy I'm happy and love me. I've very often said that if it weren't for the love and support of my family and friends, I don't know that I could have gone through with this. They gave me a lot of strength and encouragement along the way. And that question, I think, arises, though, because people look at me and go, how did that happen? And they think it was like one day I woke up and it's like, hey, you know what? I'm going to be the Lizardman. Life doesn't happen like that for anyone. You don't just wake up and do that. That happens in movies and books. It's fiction, right? If you can see my entire life, as my family and longtime friends can, you can see the very organic development of how I ended up here. It wasn't, oh, let's be the Lizardman. It was, you know, interest in sideshow and body art. It was interest in body painting. It was doing performances, traditional theater, and these things. So by the time I was getting ready to tattoo my whole body, including my face, it would have been more unusual if I didn't do it. In fact, my mom has said this. She said, when he was born, we never thought this is what he would do with his life. But when he got to the point in his life where he started to do it, it was the very obvious and natural thing for him to do.
Get your tickets right now from Gordo here at the ticket stand. He'll sell you a £6 ticket that will allow you inside the world of Sideshow Wonderland, where you will witness acts like the human blockhead, the cranial corkscrew, and a demonstration of pierce weightlifting that cannot be believed if you do not see it with your own eyes. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Come on inside. The money you spend on the ticket you will soon forget, but the sights you see inside.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the Lizardman is going to be performing at 4 o'clock on the inside of Sideshow Wonderland, and this is your moment, this is your chance, this is your time to come and see this truly phenomenal phenomenon. You can see him here on the outside, tattooed from head to toe, implants above his eyes, filed teeth, and that's just on the surface. What you see on the inside...
When it comes to dealing with people's reactions and things like that because of what I've done, I put it in this framework. That is the double-edged sword of it. For me as an artist, I believe very much in commitment. And one of the reasons I don't work in traditional media is because you could paint a painting and walk away from it. You don't even have to see it again if you don't like it. You could even destroy it. But when your body is your medium, you must commit for a lifetime, especially when you're using permanent processes like the ones I have. And I love the fact that all I have to do is walk outside my house and walk down the street, and I immediately interject surrealism into the worlds of everybody who perceives me. You know, some guy wakes up in the morning, drives to work like he always does. He's doing that day, that grind, that every single day, and he thinks every day is just the same as the last. But then it happens to be the day that I'm walking outside to get the mail or walking to the grocery store. Now he sees me as, wow, never thought I'd see a green pea. And if just for that second I can give them that little bit of wonder again, that little bit of, wait, there are new and odd things in the world I haven't experienced yet, and they can appear anywhere. You know, you didn't have to go seek it out. It just happened, something weird and surreal. I love that.
You're gonna stick it in your body, clean it off first.
There has been a real shift in sort of the mainstream perception of sideshow. I mean, it had all but died out. A lot of these acts and arts, the sword swallowing, human blockhead, were incredibly rare. You wouldn't see people performing them, you know, almost at all in the late 80s, early 90s. The early to mid 90s, you started to see a resurgence of interest in freak show and sideshow, and now it's become, you know, almost another standard. The genre has come back to no matter where you go in the world now. There are sword swallowers, there are blockheads, there are pierce weightlifters, escape artists. You know, you're seeing it on TV again. You saw that especially around like the 2000s with shows like Ripley's and Guinness World Records, really sort of pushing back into those areas that before had been sort of forgotten or abandoned by the mainstream public, but now it's very much become an accepted and popular form. It really has gone mainstream, which means there are a lot more people doing it, and the audience for it has gotten a lot larger.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for coming to the show. Do me a favor and come right up front. Get these front row tickets or front row seats filled right off. You got your tickets, take your seats. Come on in, fill it up from the front. Check out the show. That's right. Come on in. You can park the pram right off to the side. We got pram parking right there for you, ladies and gentlemen. Right off to the side right there.
I do enjoy reptiles and lizards in particular. I find them more aesthetically pleasing than anything else. The choice that I made to do a reptilian theme was not there at the forefront. Originally, this was a conceptual art piece where the idea was transformation via body modification. And it actually came out of an idea in linguistic philosophy. So the thing is, when you decide you're going to transform your body, the next question is, into what? You know, what's going to be the design? So I made lists of designs. I considered a full body maze, I considered a story, I considered polka dot, all sorts of different things. And eventually I settled on the reptilian motif because it was the one that just felt right for me. It's the same way you would pick out an outfit. You go out and you try on a whole bunch, and you know, there's one or two that stand out. You're like, yeah, this is the one for me. But I picked my suit out for the rest of my life.
Now watch as I take these scissors, give them a lick, and then just a quick little stick right across my face.
Whether it's the serpent in the Garden of Eden, whether it's the giant snakes in Dreamtime for the Aboriginal people, the Native American serpent that carved the Mississippi, the Scandinavian or Norse, you know, world serpent myth, dragons in Asia and Europe. No matter where you go, no matter what period in time, reptiles are powerful elements in human culture and symbolism. So as an artist, I have taken that powerful symbol and become it. You know, so I've used it to make my image more powerful. And I've done it on my body because that's even more impactful than, say, drawing it or painting it or sculpting it. You know, turning yourself into something registers with people very viscerally. And when it's a symbol or an image that already viscerally impacts them. I mean, I stick out my forked tongue anywhere in the world, and it strikes people deep in their minds.
Is this. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my cranial corkscrew. My corkscrew for my head. Now, much like the fork, I will insert it into my nose, but then I will twist the handle, causing it to travel down the back of my throat, out my mouth, and completely transverse my skull. But before I do this, ladies and gentlemen, let me just say, I see some of you with your cameras out. That's the right idea. Folks, if you've got a camera, go ahead and get it out. If you've got a camera phone, get it ready. If you've got a sketch pad, that'll do. Hell, if you've got an Etch-a-Sketch, now's the time to learn how to use it. Because, ladies and gentlemen, when you leave this tent and try to explain to people how you watched a completely tattooed freak screw himself on stage, nobody's going to believe you unless you've got proof. So go ahead, get some pictures, get some videos, put them online, make us famous. Here we go. There it is, ladies and gentlemen, the cranial corkscrew.